There you go. King Lewin taking on Queek Head Taker here. This is round 1 of the final between Parkmap and Thanqul. So this is a best of 5, everyone. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Time to see how these two players face off against each other. It's a lot of warp stone. It's a spawning pool over here. Either that or it's just like a really big swimming pool that the lizardmen just hang out in. But I do believe there's both spawning pools. I haven't played the Ikit Claw campaign all the way through. Be curious to see the quest battle that happens on this map. It is a beautiful map. I mean, in a dark, daunting kind of way, but it's what Warhammer's so great. Makes Warhammer so great. It's just like the diversity of the maps, the diversity of the factions. I love this game so much. I cannot overemphasize that. All right, here we go. So starting with the Bretonnians once again. Going to have Spearmen at Arms, what appears to be 3 of those bad boys. You're then going to have 2 or 3 Battle Pilgrims, one of them being the ROR Holy Wardens of Masantal, who do fire and magic damage. Other than that, we will see those Peasant Bowmen I was referencing earlier, and it looks like they're going to be 2 fire and 2 regular, like that pick. Other than this, we are going to have a cavalry contingent of Knights Errant. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 Knights Errant. And then we're going to have 2 Knights of the Realm and the the Knights of the Lionhearted ROR Knights of the Realm. So 3 Knights of the Realm, 4 Knights Errant. Pretty big cavalry force, and I like it. You know, a lot of cheap cavalry that you can spread wide, not giving the Skaven too many good targets to shoot at. Other than this, I think we just have the heroes to go over. We have a Damsel of Beast down here on the ground. Going to have Transformation Catan, Wild Heart, and Power Stone. And then we're going to have a Prophetess of Life. So this Prophetess is going to have Arcane Conduit, Regrowth, Earthblood, and Life Bloom, along with the Aura of the Lady. An interesting pick. You know, rarely see the Prophetess on the battlefield in tournaments. But obviously, she's very cheap and can allow you to flesh out the rest of your army a lot. So we'll see how she does here. Curious to see. And Regrowth and Earthblood on this army I also find a bit interesting. There's not really any like Hippogriff Knights or single entity heroes that you can really get the most benefit from healing, but as long as she's staying proactive, she could keep those Bretonnian units quite healthy. On to the Skaven now. We have Skaven slaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Skaven slaves making that front line. We're going to have some Eshin Triads. It looks like 3. So 1 on either flank and then 1 in the rear. They will be backed up by 3 Rat Ogres. And then we're going to have some Clanrat Spears with shields, ranked up a few times to 3. Going to have Poison Wind Globadiers, so 2 of them here. And then we're going to have some Warp Grinders. Warp Grinders are going to be a very key piece of this army, as their net ability will be the only thing that prevents the Bretonnians from just cycle charging all day over them. Have an Assassin down here, Assassin's Trophy, Rivalhide, Talisman, and Slippery. And then we're going to have a Plague Priest. Going to have his Summon for Vermintide, as well as Pestilent Breath and Plague. Oh, Plague! Rarely see this. We'll see how it does against perhaps some bundled up Empire Knights. I mean, Bretonnian Knights, but yeah, time will tell how useful that will be. And then last but certainly not least, we got the Bonebreaker. Don't see the Bonebreaker all the time, but he's a great hero. We actually saw him in, I think, the finals of yesterday's regular tournament. So, time to see how this Bonebreaker does with the Warlord on top. Gonna have Verminous Valor, Rally, and Shield of Distraction on top of him. Big concern about this Skaven army for me is that, you know, these Poison Wind Globadiers have very low range, and that's the only range unit they have in the army. So they're really going to be relying on just beating the Bretonnians in melee. And while I think they have a chance to, you know, with the Bonebreaker, especially Eshin Triads and the 3 Rat Ogres, my biggest concern for this Skaven army is that the Bretonnians are going to play it smart, not getting themselves into engagements where these Poison Wind Globadiers can do a lot of damage to their cav. And as long as they play it patiently and go very wide with the cav, I mean, 2, 5, 7 units of cavalry, they could easily just push the flanks here. Maybe even kill these Eshin Triads if they get caught out separated from the rest of the army. Let the infantry push up the middle. Let the archers do the talking, since there's no ranged on the Skaven end to counter those 4 archers. So right now, at least in the initial stages of this battle, I have to give Bretonnia the advantage just based on the composition to composition between the 2 players. Knights Errant pushing those flanks. Bretonnia doing a good job there, pushing their cav around multiple areas. And yeah, time will tell. Skaven Slave's going to get a charge from the Knights Errant. That should make it pretty quick. Going to see a Plague Rash going through the Holy Warners of Masantal, and that Plague Rash did about half damage. That's insanity. And now the Poison Wind Globadiers are targeting them as well. Going to have Battle Pilgrims diving into Skaven Slaves. They should be able to make quick work of them. Archers are now firing into the Plague Priest as Knights Errant come in to charge the Skaven Slaves and get them to rout. Bretonnia definitely needs to get rid of these Skaven Slaves ASAP so they can cover that gap between them and the Poison Wind Globadiers. And once they take care of the ranged units, I think they're going to be okay. Knights of the Realm should do fine against Rat Ogres. But this unit of Knights Errant needs to turn around and smash the Eshin Triads from the rear. Manticore Summon has gone down. I think I might have missed the Vortex cast there from the Skaven, unfortunately. But Knights Errant just aren't getting microed the way they need to be. They need to be pulled out here. Don't want to get in combat with Rat Ogres and Eshin Triads. And now the balance of power is going back to even, guys. We'll see what happens. Manticore is on top of the Plague Priest, doing a lot of damage. But these Knights are just kind of sitting idly at the moment. I'd really like to, see them get a bit more active. It looks like they're coming over here, perhaps to help in this combat against the Rat Ogres, and they are sorely needed. So definitely want to see them move over here, take care of these Rat Ogres. But I just think right now the Bretonnians are having a hard time microing their massive amounts of cavalry because, I mean, as you can see, they had the numerical advantage, and I don't see any of the Knights that were pushed wider around the flanks to come in and attack the rear. So right now the Skaven in a pretty commanding position, but the Plague Priest looking really worse for wear. Archers doing what they do. But yeah, I mean, at this point, the balance of power is dead even. Anybody's game still. But it does look like the Skaven are just playing it a bit better in terms of the engagements they're selecting. But will it be enough? I mean, look at this. Knights of Lionhearted starting to rout these Rat Ogres. The Eshin Triads looking very weak. And the Rat Ogres over, the Bonebreaker Lord is over here and by himself as soon as these units for the Skaven start routing. So if the Eshin Triads are gone, then the Bonebreaker is going to be all by his lonesome. Seeing another Manticore summon going down. And this Damsel of Beast, you know, is probably just going to act as a distraction, to be honest. She's used both of her summons at this point. She's probably not too concerned about dying. I'm not saying you should throw them away, but could be a good distraction unit to distract the Ratmen from the units that they should be focusing on. And in this case, it looks like the Bretonnians, if they did turn the Knights of the Lionhearted around, get another charge into the Eshin Triads, they could potentially kill the Bonebreaker. And if they kill the Bonebreaker, the battle will go to them. Over here, the Manticore doing what it does best, which is harass the hell out of this Plague Priest. Gonna see a Shockwave going down. A Warquake, my apologies. And yeah, balance of power is still pretty even. Slightly Bretonnia favored. Alright, send one unit over here to keep this Rat Ogre, or the Bone Lord. The Bonebreaker Warlord. I'm just going to call him the Bone Lord. To get out of there. And the Barrel Manticore, look at this. It may take out the Plague Priest. He's very low on health. And there goes the Plague Priest. Feral Manticore summon definitely getting its value there. But the balance of power is back to dead even, chat. These Knights are in a blob fight. Always hate to see that. And at this point, I'd probably turn around. It looks like he's doing just that. Come over here, maybe try to pin that Bonebreaker Lord down with a nice charge. Turn back around, keep up the cycle charging. Balance of power is going towards the Skaven now, though. Feral Manticore disrupting these Poison Wing Globadiers. Probably going to get some good value there. High value target indeed. Uh-oh. Jade Wizard getting staggered. Alright, a regrowth going down on top of the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. Assassin's Trophy has been popped on top of the Prophetess of Life. The Bretonnia and Cav starting to get pulled back here, and the Skaven are just doing a really good job of pushing the Bretonnians further and further back. But the Bretonnians keep on having these units regroup. If they can get these archers focusing on the Warlord, that could make a huge difference. He doesn't have the best armor, only 70. But I don't know. This is looking like it's getting a bit bleak. But as I say that, you know, it's like these lovely formations start to appear from the Bretonnians as they regroup. See the archers firing in with the Overwatch fire. And the Cav over here can still continue charging away, but it's just all about them killing off Rat Ogres at this point, making sure they can get rid of that mass. And Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis diving into these Rat Ogres. And maybe a bit of unnecessary risk there, especially with Eshin Triad so nearby. But here comes some more Knights Errant. All these other groups coming in to help charge in, dish out the damage, hurt the leadership, but the Skaven are coming. Beautiful charge from the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. It's going to break these triads, and look at that, the Warp Grinders are really low too now. Get over here, Bretonnia, kill these Clan Rat Spears before they finish off your Peasant Bowmen. Yeah, it may be too little too late, but, I mean, over here in the back lines, you know, we do see some Knights Errant getting on top of Poison Wing Globadiers, pinning them in place. I'm not sure if they're going to win that combat in the long run. Poison Wing Globadiers do have 100 armor. Battle Pilgrims over here, Spearmen. I mean, there's definitely some tools still left in the Bretonnian toolkit. It just seems that with the Assassin so healthy, the Bonebreaker Warlord so healthy, they're just not getting the damage down on top of those key units they need to delete. Ooh, Assassin's Trophy going down on top of this Damsel. And it looks like she is not going to get away from the Assassin right there. And oh, Damsel taking some serious damage. She needs to get the hell out of there. Some very unnecessary hits. And she's going to take another big hit on the back when she's trying to retreat. Alright, Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis are coming over here, but the Poison Wing Globadiers are turning to face them. And I think we're going to see a volley perhaps take them out completely. Are they in skirmish mode, though? It looks like they may be in skirmish mode, and if that's the case, then that's a huge loss. Because if they were, you know, not on skirmish mode, they easily could have killed those guys on the charge in. But look at this! Are they going to get caught out, separated from the rest of their army? There's nothing nearby to support them. Warlord is coming over here desperately trying to help. But now he's going to get charged by the Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis. Verminous Valor has been popped. And rally. Warlord is starting to get surrounded. However, his leadership is holding just fine. And he looks like he's going to be able to get these knights to rout in the near future. So I think this is going to be a GG. A very good game to both of these players for the first round. But I just don't see how Bretonnia does it at this point. For the lady of the lake is disappointed. I mean, some really good kills on a lot of these knights. The Peasant Bowman doing some good work. Battle Pilgrims getting a lot of good kills. Prophetess of Life is an interesting pick to me. And that's mainly because, I don't know, against Skaven, if he had any terror units, just like, I don't know, it would have cut back on his funds a lot, but, and the only terror units Bretonnia can bring are in the air, so I guess he was maybe concerned about Howling Warp Gale, but in hindsight, this army, clearly would have been susceptible to a Flying Lord. The reason I say that is Poison Wing Globadiers are never going to catch him. This army did not have Howling Warp Gale to pin him in place. And I think like a Lewin or Albrecht or even a generic Bretonnian Lord on a Hippogriff could have gotten the terror routes needed to win this game. So great game to both players. Let's see what happens in round 2.